San Antonio starts right now.
New overnight, Private Travis King, the U.S. soldier who ran into North Korea this summer, arrives here in San Antonio after being expelled by North Korea. Up next, what the Army's expected to do with him as he's being checked out at Brooke Army Medical Center.
Plus, we finally learned the fate of a dog that attacked a man at his northeast side home.
And outside with live cam, another one of those mornings where it's actually not too bad out there, mid-70s. I even saw just a touch of fog in the Olmos Basin this morning. We did have some rain in the area, so that makes a little bit of sense. Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday. It is September 28th.
We made it to Thursday. Thanks for joining us. I actually saw some rain. What about you?
Heard some magnificent thunder yesterday, so those storms did pop up throughout the afternoon hours, Justin.
Yeah, I even picked up a little bit of small hail. It was teeny tiny.
I saw your video.
Yeah, but it was great to see the rain. It honestly was. And I know not everyone got the rain. We have a few more chances in the forecast, and as I look down the line, way down the line, nothing reliable yet. We're starting to see some signs of maybe a pattern change, so there's that to look forward to. This was the scene yesterday. There was a lot of lightning. It was very electrical. This was in Balcones Heights. You can see the lightning strike there. Incredible shot. And yeah, the rain came down heavy in spots. Right now, though, just some mostly cloudy skies and 76 degrees at the airport. I think we'll fall another few degrees here, so it won't be a bad morning. New Braunfels at 75, Seguin at 71, and Bernie and Kerrville up there in the hills in the 60s this morning. Our forecast by 8 o'clock, 75. By the afternoon, around 90 noontime. This is a pretty similar forecast to what we've seen the last couple days, other than rain chances are lower today. We're talking just 10%. Honestly, I think if we see anything, it'll probably be east of San Antonio. So don't expect the radar to look like it did yesterday. Temperatures will top out close to 95 degrees. So what about that pattern change, and what does a 7-day look like? We've got more on that coming up in just a bit, guys.
Justin, thank you very much. Now to a U.S. soldier who spent months detained in North Korea, now back in the U.S. and here in San Antonio.
Army Private Travis King will now begin a reintegration process. As ABC's Wynn reports, he landed at Kelly Field around 12:30 this morning. He was then transferred to Brooke Army Medical Center to be checked out.
Overnight, U.S. Army Private Travis King returning to the U.S. after spending 2 months detained in North Korea. Back in July, the 23-year-old was released from a South Korean prison where he had served time for assault. He then joined a tour of the DMZ, seen here dressed in black. King then willingly bolted into North Korea, where he was detained. 70 days later, North Korea announced King had been found guilty of illegally intruding into its territory and expelled him.
The North Koreans almost certainly asked King about his army unit, its capabilities, anything they could find out about the military mission of the U.S. in South Korea. But in the end, they seemed to feel that keeping him was less valuable than the diplomatic and public relations advantages of letting him go.
U.S. officials say North Korea got nothing in return for King's release. King's mother said to be overjoyed to speak to her son yesterday. She had previously raised concerns about his mental health after his cousin's death in February. Now, in the U.S., experts say King will likely be discharged from the Army.
I think we'll see an administrative discharge rather than pursuing a lengthy judicial process.
Meanwhile, the U.S. has issued a rare statement of gratitude for the Chinese government, who, along with Sweden, helped facilitate King's departure from North Korea. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
A dog that attacked a man at his own home earlier this month has been euthanized. The dog bit the 46-year-old victim on his arms and stomach and back on September 5th. Now, this happened outside his victim's home in the 9500 block of Heidelberg Street after a neighbor let his dogs out. So 2 dogs, male and female, got to the man after crawling under a fence. The judge ruled that the male dog be euthanized. The female dog has since been sterilized and returned to her owner.
The second Republican debate of the 2024 presidential primary now in the books. The evening was more lively than the first debate, which took place over a month ago. Candidates interrupted each other much more, especially former Vice President Mike Pence and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. Both directly criticized frontrunner Donald Trump, who did not participate in last night's debate. The 2 candidates from South Carolina, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley and Senator Tim Scott, went after one another for their records on spending. And seemingly everyone who had a chance to take a shot at entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy did so.
Texas is sending more National Guardsmen to El Paso to help with a group of migrants crossing the border. Officials say that more than 600 troops have arrived in the last 96 hours. Now, previously, the city's mayor said El Paso had reached its breaking point. In December, Governor Greg Abbott started sending Guard members to the border to deter migrants from crossing the Rio Grande.
The Powerball jackpot has soared to $925 million after nobody had all the winning numbers last night. While nobody took home the fourth largest jackpot prize in the game's history, 4 people in 4 states are now millionaires. 4 tickets match the 5 white balls in California, Kansas, Maryland, and Kentucky. According to the Texas Lotto folks, one person in Texas won $150,000 after matching 4 of 5 numbers with the Powerball. The next drawing is scheduled for Saturday night. Most recent Powerball jackpot win, $1.08 billion, happened back on July 19th in California. And I keep seeing stories about the guy who won that in California, keeps buying fancy properties in and around Los Angeles.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Very nice. It's time now, 4:36 and 75 degrees for now.
Up next, why more than 90% of cancer centers in the U.S. have reported critical shortages of medications used to treat cancer and why some have already run out.
And let's look at the roads with TransGuide really quick. Looking over here at Highway 281 at the quarry, things are moving, but still quiet for the most part.
Yeah, Stevens mentioned some construction on Highway 90 in the overnight hours. We'll keep tabs on all that for you throughout the morning as we're just getting started here on GMSA with a live look at San Antonio International Airport. We'll be back. More than 200 drugs now facing a critical nationwide shortage, including penicillin and amoxicillin, 2 widely used antibiotics.
However, as Ursula Perry reports, the shortages that are proving to be the most devastating are those used to treat cancers.
Methotrexate, cisplatin, and carboplatin. They're more than just the go-to drugs for a number of different cancers for thousands of patients. They are the hope for a cure. But more than 90% of cancer centers in the U.S. have reported critical shortages of these drugs, and some have already run out.
Cancer patients have a lot on their minds. The last thing that they should need to worry about is, can they get the medication that they need?
Doctors are resorting to lower the doses, to ration the drugs, or switching patients to a different drug with more severe side effects. And some doctors will have to decide which patients to prioritize, such as those in the early stages of the disease and who have the highest chance of survival.
We always encourage patients to advocate for themselves. And specifically, I hear my medication is on shortage. Am I going to be able to get it?
Patients are also encouraged to regularly check the drug shortage database on FDA.gov. If one of your medications is getting critically low, the sooner you and your doctor can come up with an alternative treatment plan, the better.
That was Ursula Perry reporting. One of the main reasons for the shortage has to do with a factory over in India failing an FDA inspection.
That factory made 50% of those cancer drugs, and there is no word on when they'll be back up and running again.
Time check, 4:41, 75 degrees.
Still ahead, we meet the talented artist who painted the windy mural and how what was once a hobby turned into something more.
Plus, Major League Baseball pitcher who suffered a fractured skull after being hit by a line drive is speaking about his recovery.
And welcome back. It's about 4:44. Ryan Feltner, the Colorado Rockies pitcher who suffered a fractured skull and concussion after being hit in the head by a line drive in May, is talking about his recovery. ABC's Whit Johnson has details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, an ABC News exclusive. What do you remember about what happened?
I remember everything.
This is the moment that could have ended everything for Colorado Rockies pitcher Ryan Feltner.
And a line drive.
Feltner taking a 92-mile-per-hour line drive to the back of the head in a game against the Philadelphia Phillies in May, suffering from a fractured skull and a concussion. And this morning, he's telling his story to GMA.
Did you fear you might not be able to play the game of baseball ever again?
Yeah, there were fears at the beginning of that. Everyday activities were tough. We had 4 months to work through things. So when we got to that point, that's kind of when it became clear that I was going to do it again.
And we'll have much more of Ryan Feltner's remarkable recovery coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Whit Johnson, ABC News, New York.
Back here at home, you may have already seen it this morning. We're hearing from the creative genius behind a mural that has caught the attention of fans of both sports and art.
Our Jonathan Cotto shows us how a hobby turned into a therapeutic and now recognized passion.
So one day we're just sitting in the living room and I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to paint something, and I did, and it came out good. Posted it, and it people started buying my content.
Michael Sanchez says it was during the height of the pandemic he discovered his passion for art.
I've always been into a little sketching here and there, but I picked up a paintbrush and I fell in love.
His artwork covers everyone from Vicente Fernandez to local boxing sensation Jesse Bam Rodriguez, and this mural, a memorial for the fallen children of Uvalde. Fast forward to today, Sanchez finishing a depiction of the young basketball prodigy Wemby.
So I reached out to the owner of Mark's Outing and I showed him, and then I reached out to my friend and I told him if I could use his image, so I put it on this wall.
Sanchez says he was inside Mark's Outing watching a football game when an unexpected guest paid the mural a visit. Wembanyama himself.
Wow, I was just amazed of how tall he is. I was just like dumbfounded. I mean, it was just awesome.
Mikey tells us he started the mural on June 26th and finished on the 28th, and it took him roughly 20 hours to complete. And he adds it was the drivers who would honk while he was working on it that inspired him to perfect the mural of Wemby.
So it was a paintbrush and it was a mixed media, so it's spray paint, a little bit of airbrush, a little bit of marker.
He says meeting Wemby was a total surprise. Wemby even autographing his mural.
There you go. He was everything I thought he would be. Meeting him in person, he's young, he's very humble. You know, he showed respect and he showed a lot of love for my mural, which, I mean, that's awesome, you know.
Sanchez says murals serve as a source of inspiration for our community and hopes to make his passion full-time. Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Let's check traffic at 4:47. Stephen mentioned construction on our early morning phone call at 4 a.m. and we are seeing that in 5 different spots around town. Not seeing it on any of these cameras, including 281 at the quarry.
Pretty quiet for right now.
And they're in the normal spots that you would imagine, too.
Yeah,
and this is not a complaint, but I feel like there is more construction across San Antonio right now than I ever remember. There is a lot going on, which is a good thing. We're getting improvements, but just heads up.
It's a sign of progress, right?
It is.
You just have to be patient.
That's right. Yesterday, we patiently waited on the rain, and it came for some of us. I know not everyone got rain. And the reason we got the rain yesterday, as we look on water vapor here, and I pointed this out yesterday, we had this kind of little disturbance roll through, had some good moisture with it. Now it's pushing east. So where you see this orange color here, that represents some drier, more stable air. And that's why I think the radar is just not going to be as active as it was yesterday. I can't rule out a stray shower today. We're just not going to see the scattering of showers like we did yesterday afternoon as this pushes off to the east of us. So here's a look at the forecast. And by 4 o'clock today, it does show a few showers approaching our eastern counties, but it doesn't make it to San Antonio. If we are going to see any rain today, I think it's going to be east of I-35. As we get into tomorrow's a quiet day, mostly sunny, other than maybe a shower on the coast. We've taken out rain chances on Friday. As we get into the weekend, though, a little bit more moisture tries to work in. And again, it's one of those situations where we may see a spotty shower or two Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon, but it's not one of those situations where you want to cancel your plans because this is going to be few and far between and won't have any big impacts. So that's what the weekend looks like. I wanted to check in on the reservoir levels. We're going to get that drought monitor here in a few hours. We'll have a better idea of where we stand with the drought. But the reservoirs continue to go down. These are updated numbers as of this morning. Amistad's at 34%, down 51 feet. Medina's still at 4%, but it is down to 87 feet now, which is just incredible. Canyon Lake is the most glaring issue we have because it's at 65%. This is really low for Canyon Lake. It's down 18 feet. That is a record, in fact, and continues to drop. And Choke Canyon's at 27%. So we know the rivers and the lakes, we've talked about it all summer, they're in bad shape, but they're still falling. You would think there's not much left to fall, but they're just continue to go. Here's a look at the temperatures right now. 76 here in San Antonio, 75 in New Braunfels, 71 Seguin, Bernie 68, Kerrville 68. So pretty nice morning in the hill country. And I think it'll be pretty nice here in San Antonio for at least a couple of hours before that heat starts to kick in. And by 10 a.m., 84 degrees, noontime 89. and then we start to go partly cloudy by the afternoon. There is a 10% chance of a shower, but like I said, will not be a big issue. Dew points, it's fairly sticky at the moment, and dew points do jump up a little bit over the weekend, and that's why we've added in some of those small rain chances. We just kind of get a push of some decent moisture. But by next week, the dew points do come down. I think we'll have some more comfortable mornings as you move into early next week. Here's the big picture as far as the jet stream is concerned, and it finally does take a nice dip out west, not here, but out west. So they'll get some unsettled weather there across the western half of the country. It tries to move a little bit closer to us, but it just it stays too far away to give us any real impacts, that big trough out west. So that means our forecast is a pretty quiet one. 96 Friday, 94 Saturday, 10% chance of rain. Sunday, 10%, 93. 93 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, mid-90s. So this is still above average. And coming up next half hour, we'll talk about what we can expect in October. We'll do a little bit of an October preview. And I will say, as I look down the line, way down the line, and computer models are not reliable in this sense, but I'm going to mention it because I think we're all wanting it. It is showing some signs of fall finally going, doing something. Maybe some cold fronts and some cooler weather. So that's the idea.
That's great news.
It is.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. 451, 75 degrees.
Well, if you ever thought, I sure do wish there was a Bachelor show on ABC that features older people. Well, then you're in luck. Up next, a first look at The Golden Bachelor that premieres tonight here on KSAT 12.
ABC made an offer, but I turned them down. So, yeah.
Silly.
Pick 3 numbers, 169, Fireball 7, Daily 4, 7209, Fireball 5.
Cash 5, 4, 11, 13, 23, 25. Lotto Texas 9, 31, 33, 45, 49, 54. And your Powerball numbers 1, 7, 46, 47, 63, Powerball 7, Power Play 3. Good luck.
Get ready for an older edition of The Bachelor. Plus, the boss is postponing the rest of his 2023 tour.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
I'm feeling a little anxious and a little nervous.
The golden hour is almost upon us. The Golden Bachelor premieres tonight, the first time the franchise explores those looking for love in their 60s and 70s. 72-year-old Jerry Turner is the man at the center of it all, and he says he hopes to show that people his age are still full of life.
There's a certain stereotype that we've slowed down mentally and physically, and we don't accept challenges like we used to. And that's something I really want to change opinion on.
22 women will compete for Turner's heart, ranging in age from 60 to 75. The Golden Bachelor premieres tonight on ABC. The boss postponing the rest of his 2023 tour because of health issues. Bruce Springsteen recovering from peptic ulcer disease, and we're told in a post on social media that his doctors have him continuing treatment through the rest of the year. He says he's on the mend and can't wait to see the fans next year. Fans of topical monologues rejoice. All of the 3 11:30 network talk show hosts, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Stephen Colbert, will be back on air this coming Monday. They've been off since the start of the writers' strike. Seth Meyers will also be back Monday. John Oliver returns to HBO Sunday, and Bill Maher is back tomorrow night. And Oscar-winning actress and current dancing star Mira Sorvino is 56 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
456, 76 degrees.
Private Travis King, the U.S. soldier who ran into North Korea, arrived in San Antonio hours ago. Now, just ahead on GMSA, what's next for King and his future in the U.S. Army?
Ahead on GMSA at 6 today, obesity is up 37% for adults across the U.S. What you can do to handle it before you need to go to the doctor.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide, looking over at Loop 410 at Ray Ellison Boulevard. That shot looks okay. Steven said there's a bunch of construction around town, but we're going to be checking in with him after the break.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Breaking overnight, a U.S. soldier who ran into North Korea back in July lands here in San Antonio, and now the military is trying to decide what to do with him next.
I think we'll see an administrative discharge rather than pursuing a lengthy judicial process.
Up next, a live report from KSAT from Brooke Army Medical Center, where Private Travis King was taken after landing at Kelly Field overnight.
I'm ABC's M. Wynn in Washington. The second Republican presidential debate more contentious and fiery than the first. The highlights coming up.
And trending right now on KSAT.com this morning, you can see photos inside a cave previously hidden underwater at Canyon Lake, where remnants of an old town are also revealed. So current water levels at Canyon Lake are measuring around 890.91 feet, meaning the lake is roughly 65% full. Online right now, you can read more about Hancock and Crane's Mill, which disappeared from the map after Canyon Lake was created.
And outside with live cam this morning, mid-70s out there, quite a bit of humidity, especially where we got rain yesterday. And good morning to you. It's Thursday, September 28th.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you had a good week so far, and we hope you were one of the few that got rain. I mean, I saw it. I was pretty excited, and you did too as well.
I saw it online because Justin posted a video of showers and some light hail out there on the northwest side late yesterday afternoon.
It sort of came down heavy in spots for sure, and it was spotty across the area. Now, I'll tell you today, you don't need to send the kids to school with an umbrella because the coverage is not going to be like it was yesterday. Maybe a stray shower, but that's it. So 74 this morning. We're off to a pretty comfortable start, but by the afternoon, it will be warm, probably in the mid-90s. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour and partly cloudy. And as we look at the pollen count, the latest, this is from yesterday. We have molds in the moderate category, ragweed, foam, and pigweed. We've seen these four allergens basically stay in the pollen count over the last week or so, and I don't anticipate anything much different today, other than molds may go up a little bit after yesterday's rainfall. Our forecast today, 8 a.m., 75 degrees. By noontime, 89, 91 at 1 o'clock. And by the afternoon, we're up around 95, partly cloudy. There is a 10% chance of rain, but again, I think the radar is more quiet today than it was yesterday. We could see a few more showers over the weekend, too. We're going to look at that forecast for you coming up, but let's toss it over to Stephen now. Good morning to you, sir. And how are things looking at the moment?
Well, Justin, things are moving along just fine. Right behind me, 35 at Ben Zingelman. We have a pretty quiet start, but as Mark and Steph mentioned, we did have a lot of that overnight construction. Looks like that's already wrapped up, and you can see at 35 at San Marcos, we really don't have a lot of traffic out there. We did have a stalled vehicle at 281 near the quarry, which is why we have a close-up shot there from our friends over at TransGuide. That appears to have also cleared out, and the drivers who are waking up and planning on hitting the roads won't have too much to worry about this morning, just a lot of green on the screen. Now, while that stall at 281 cleared out, it appears that we do have a new stall along 410 near Bandera Road. You can see it behind me in Leon Valley. We'll take a closer look at that and find out how that could impact your drive time. But let's take a look at the drive times if you're heading into San Antonio. Right now, the journey from Bernie along I-10 eastbound should be 24 minutes. It's a 27-minute drive if you're heading along 281 southbound from Bulverde, and 24 minutes along I-35 southbound from New Braunfels. So no delays just yet, but that's expected to change as always as people wake up and hit the roads. But we have another shot around town, 35 at San Marcos. We'll keep a close eye on things and have more updates throughout the morning. Mark.
Stephen, thank you. Now to a U.S. soldier detained in North Korea, now back in U.S. custody and here in San Antonio.
Army Private Travis King will now begin the reintegration process. Katrina Weber is live at Brooke Army Medical Center with more. Good morning, Katrina.
Well, good morning. Yes, U.S. Private Travis King has arrived back here in the U.S. after spending 2 months detained in North Korea. Now, overnight, around 12:30 this morning, his plane landed at Kelly Field, and then he was transferred here to Brooke Army Medical Center to get checked out. Back in July, 23-year-old Private Travis King was released from a South Korean prison where he had served time for assault. He then joined a tour of the DMZ, seen here dressed in black. King then willingly bolted into North Korea, where he was detained. 70 days later, North Korea announced King had been found guilty of illegally intruding into its territory and expelled him. U.S. officials say North Korea got nothing in return for King's release. King's mother said to be overjoyed to speak to her son yesterday. She had previously raised concerns about his mental health after his cousin's death in February. Now in the U.S., experts say King will likely be discharged from the Army.
I think we'll see an administrative discharge rather than pursuing a lengthy judicial process.
Right now, King is set to undergo a psychological assessment and debriefings here at BAMC. He'll also get a chance to meet with his family. Meanwhile, the U.S. has released a rare statement of gratitude for the Chinese government, who, along with Sweden, helped to facilitate King's departure from North Korea. Reporting live near BAMC, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you so much. New this morning, a shootout at a San Antonio Jack in the Box ends with 2 people shot overnight. San Antonio police say it happened around 12:45 this morning in the 3800 block of South Zarzamora. SAPD says a man who was on foot had a shootout between the other men in a vehicle in front of the fast food restaurant. The man was hit in the back, and a passenger in the car was hit by gunfire as well. Both were taken to the hospital.
One of the men charged in the deadly tractor-trailer smuggling incident on Quintana Road last year has pleaded guilty on multiple accounts. Now, Christian Martinez, who helped transport 53 migrants to San Antonio where they died, now faces up to life in prison. The U.S. Department of Justice says that Martinez pled guilty to several felony counts, including transportation of the migrants, resulting in death. Martinez is scheduled to be sentenced in January of 2024.
The San Antonio man is asking for a second set of eyes to review his son's murder case. Robert Fluellen was shot and killed in November of 2020. In 2021, his parents were told there would be no charges filed against the suspect identified by Helotes police in the negligent homicide case. His father, Armando Rodriguez, has been pressing for a meeting with the Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez to understand what's needed for the case to move forward. He's also asking that a different attorney in Gonzalez's office examine the same. Rodriguez showed up to a heated District 4 town hall meeting where he finally got to press Gonzalez for time.
I'm my son's voice. I'm all that's left, that he has. Spoke with the chief, felony trial division. Promised me you'll hear from me tomorrow. It's the same promises. It's been 2 weeks tomorrow.
Rodriguez says he has not yet gotten a call from the DA. In an email, the DA's office said they look at cases that can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. But it adds that if more evidence comes to light, they can revisit this specific case. The office also explained the lengthy support is offered to the victim and survivors through their liaisons.
You still have a chance to speak with Bexar County's top leader about some of the issues you care about most. Judge Peter Sakai is hosting 4 community conversations, and tonight you're invited to attend the 3rd meeting. So that's happening at 5:30 at the SAMSAT David Moore Education Center. That is on Southwest 36th Street. You can read more about this on our website at ksat.com.
The fiery second Republican debate of the 2024 presidential primary is now in the books.
7 candidates on stage last night going head to head. As ABC's Emwin reports, some notably took aim at GOP frontrunner Donald Trump, who again chose not to participate.
About their records. Contentious moments and a frenzy of attacks at the second Republican primary debate in Simi Valley, California last night. In a heated war of words, presidential candidates Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy sparred over TikTok after the latter had once called it digital fentanyl.
Part of how we win elections is reaching the next generation of young Americans where they are.
TikTok is one of the most dangerous social media apps that we could have. And what you've got, I honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say.
The 7 GOP candidates on stage wasted no time going after President Biden's economic policies.
The reason why people are striking in Detroit is because Joe Biden's interference with capital markets and with free markets.
He belongs on the unemployment line.
They also squared off on hot-button issues like border security.
We're going to declare it a national emergency. Yes, we'll build the wall. We'll do remain in Mexico. But those Mexican drug cartels are going to be treated like the foreign terrorist organizations that they are.
Candidates taking aim at former President Trump, who skipped the event again and instead met with auto workers at a non-union plant in Michigan.
You're ducking these things. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
But the GOP frontrunner took to social media to call the former New Jersey governor a bum, and his team calling the debate boring and inconsequential.
Our political analysts say the 2 strongest performances were from Nikki Haley and Tim Scott. Meanwhile, the 3rd presidential debate is set for November 8th in Miami, and former President Trump is already indicating he'll skip it too. Em Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
509, 76 degrees.
Just ahead, Meta announces its new Quest 3 mixed reality headset. We're going to tell you how much it costs and how it's different from the previous version.
Outside with live cam, 76 degrees, and I know the seasons are slowly starting to change. It has been a long time since I've seen any hint of fog in the Almost Basin here in San Antonio, and it was creeping right up to the edge of Highway 281 this morning.
Oh, wow.
That's a good sign. We'll be back. 5:13, welcome back to Good Morning San Antonio. Meta has unveiled its new Quest 3 mixed reality headset. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, a new gadget from Meta. The company has unveiled its Quest 3 mixed reality headset. Users are able to see the outside world while staying immersed in VR. It's aimed at making them more comfortable to use it for long periods. The cost, $500. New artificial intelligence tools are coming to Instagram. Meta says Restyle will let users remix their existing photos into different looks, and Backdrop will allow for new versions of an image with different backgrounds. Meta says both will be arriving soon. Finally, Say is a new AI-powered app meant to make shopping for designer goods more like a game. Users swipe on items they like, then they have 30 minutes to decide whether they want to buy it. Its creator says different time durations are being tested out. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Rhiannon Alley. Have a great day.
5:14, 76 degrees.
Let's look out there with TransSky to see how the roads are doing. Loop 410 at Ingram North looks pretty good right now. And Loop 410, Fredericksburg, things are moving. We're going to be checking in with our Stephen Cavazos very soon.
It's a good day to cough. Oh, no.
Bye-bye, cough.
Later chest congestion. Hello, 12 hours of relief.
12 hours? Okay, not coughing at yoga. Antiquing not coughing. Not coughing at the movies? Hashtag still not coughing?
Mucinex DM gives you 12 hours of relief from chest congestion in any type of cough, day or night. It's not cough season. It's always comeback season.
We're such great friends, we should have a nickname, like the Breakfast Buddies.
How about the less talking, more eating buddies?
That's great! Even in complete silence, Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol.
What about the very good-looking people?
That's very accurate.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Non-drowsy Claritin D knocks out your worst allergy symptoms, including nasal congestion, without knocking you out. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year. Claritin D.
And we're back at 5:17 on a Thursday morning. Good morning.
Yes, hey, good morning, guys. You know, so far so good out there on the roadways. We had a lot of that overnight construction, which I'll talk about in a minute. But if you're heading out the door in the next few minutes, let's take a look and see what you can expect. I did talk to our friends at TransGuide earlier in the week. Now, not all of the cameras are working, so we have to figure out exactly which cameras we can show you this morning. But we're going to work to keep a close eye on things, and if something pops up, I'll be sure to let you know. Thankfully, we haven't seen major issues out there, but you can see traffic moving at 35 at San Marcos in the north and southbound lanes, and there at 281 near the quarry where we did have a stalled vehicle earlier. But that's a pretty quiet shot, and even there at 35, the upper and lower levels at Main. But we take you to our map, and this is really what you can expect, just some quiet roads. Always at this hour, so just enjoy it while you can. But overnight construction seems to have been the main story out there on the roadways. US 90 over on the west side of San Antonio, we had mill and overlay operations, and it sounds pretty fancy, but we're going to see that work continue all the way up until Friday, October 6th. So pack your patience overnight, because it's 8:30 in the evening to 5 in the morning. That's when you will see those alternating westbound mainline closures, and you may have seen some slowdowns out there from 36th Street to Loop 410. But you can scan this QR code, and we have all that information along with other road closures on our website. Always a lot happening in and around the Alamo City, Justin, but I'm not sure if these crews are just kind of waiting to find out when we're going to get that cooler weather. I'm sure they are. It makes their job a lot easier, I bet.
Well, they probably, I mean, they get lack of sleep, but they probably like working overnight because it's cooler.
Oh, yeah.
That helps. We're all waiting for October because I think in our minds, right, October is going to bring some cooler weather. I mean, climatologically speaking, it should. So here's the October preview. On October 1st, the average high is 87, the average low is 65. By the end of the month, look at this, 77 is the average high, the average low is 55. It's hard to wrap your mind around that because it's just been so very warm, and we have not had mornings like that at all. The record high is 99. That was set on October 12th in 1991, so it still can get fairly hot in October, but the record low is 27, set in on October 31st, 1993. So it can also get pretty cold. It is one of those transition months where we start to see fronts with more frequency, and we're still waiting on these fronts. Still not one in the forecast yet. 77 right now, 73 in New Braunfels, 71 in Seguin. These temperatures are falling, and that's what we want to see. 68 Bernie, 69 in Kerrville. But the highs today will be right back where we were yesterday in the mid-90s. 95 here in San Antonio, 96 Divine, 94 in Bandera, 92 in Kerrville. Another hot one. The rain that we had yesterday was courtesy of a little disturbance that rolled through, and now it's pushing east of San Antonio. So we're seeing some showers in the Gulf of Mexico this morning, but nothing here locally, and I don't expect a lot today, as the Water Ripper shows this disturbance quickly moving east, and we're getting some dry air, some stable air on the backside of it, so that would take away our rain chances for the most part. With that being said, I can't rule out a shower on the coastal plain today, not in San Antonio. And then as we head into tomorrow, likely a quiet day on your Friday. In fact, we'll see mostly sunny skies. Friday night football will be great. But Saturday, we're going to add some rain chances back in. Very small rain chances. It's just some of these spotty showers that may work in from the Gulf of Mexico. Nothing that would interrupt your weekend plans, so don't cancel anything. Just know that a shower or two is possible. And honestly, the rain chance is 10%. So that's about as low as it gets. That'll be the case on Sunday, too. Those are kind of the 2 days where we could see a few of those spotty showers. And then beyond that, still pretty dry. In the tropics, it is still the same scenario it has been basically all week. We've had Philippe, and we're still waiting on Rina. The Hurricane Center has given us a 90% chance of development, but it just doesn't seem to want to develop. And I think part of that is because it's so close to Philippe, and Philippe's not moving. It's kind of sucking all the energy away. So regardless, this is not going to have any real impact on really any landmass, even the islands. This Philippe just kind of meanders and falls apart. And if we do get Rina, she's going to drift to the north. So there's not a lot there to worry about. 96 tomorrow, 94 Saturday, 93 Sunday. There are those small rain chances, and more of the same next week. Beyond that, there is some glimmers of hope down the line. As I said, October should bring some cooler weather, and there are some indications that maybe we start to see some pattern changes late next week, going into maybe the first or second week of October. We'll see.
Yeah, looking forward to October. Sounds awesome.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, just the idea of like lows in the 50s. That sounds nice.
It is. You're upselling it very well.
I'm trying.
Yeah. 522, 76 degrees.
Up next, The Exorcist returns for its 50th anniversary, and late night hosts are returning after WGA strike ends, and a new look at Wish.
But first, your lottery numbers: pick 3, 169, Fireball 7. Daily 4 numbers were, if we could pop back to the other page, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Daily 4, 7209, Fireball 5.
Cash 5, 4, 11, 13, 23, 25. Lotto Texas 9, 31, 33, 44, 49, 54. Now your Powerball numbers: 1, 7, 46, 47, 63, Powerball 7, Power Play 3. Good luck.
It's almost October, and what better way to begin Halloween month than one of the most scary movies ever?
CNN's David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
I believe we should begin. An extended director's cut of The Exorcist is headed to theaters to mark the horror classic's 50th anniversary. The screenings on Sunday, October 1st and Wednesday, October 4th are set to include a tribute to director William Friedkin, who died in August. Head to fathomevents.com for locations and other info. Late Night Talk is coming back. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver all say they're returning with new shows now that the writer's strike is over. Oliver returns Sunday night, while the rest will have new episodes beginning Monday. Late night shows were the first to go dark when the Writers Guild strike began on May 2nd. The strike ended early Wednesday after 148 days, following a unanimous vote from Guild leadership.
Last night, I made a wish on a star. And the star answered.
Here's your latest look at Wish, about a kingdom where only certain wishes are supposed to come true. Ariana DeBose, Chris Pine, and Alan Tudyk lead the voice cast of the animated musical comedy, due in theaters November 22nd. Wishing on a Hollywood star, I'm David Daniel.
How many nights did you sleep with the lights on after seeing the original Exorcist?
Many, and years to follow as well.
And checking under the bed and over the bed and up near the ceiling?
Still sometimes.
Wow, what an experience.
Yes.
527, 76 degrees.
And funding for the government expires on Sunday, the 1st of October. And right now, there is no plan in place to prevent that. Up next, why there has still been no sign of compromise among lawmakers so far.
Many might be tired of all the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce stuff now, but wait, there's more. Heinz is trying to use its Cranch sauce to get some extra sales.
And ahead on GMSA at 6, how dogs from San Antonio were able to help the survivors and first responders from Robb Elementary in Uvalde.
Funding for the federal government expires on Sunday, and right now there's no plan in place to prevent that.
Do you think the government shutdown is inevitable? I don't think anything's inevitable in politics.
Up next, as we get closer to the October 1st deadline, why some say they won't give in to the president's demands.
And trending right now on KSAT.com this morning, a mother bravely shields her son after a bear leapt onto a picnic table in front of them. Now, video shows the bear devouring some tacos and enchiladas meant for the boy's birthday dinner, inches from his face. You can watch this video online right now and find out what happened next.
We're waking up to a nice morning out there. Looks like a few clouds are trying to move in. 76 degrees at last check. We'll talk to Justin in just a sec. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday. It is September 28th.
Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us. And we're wondering, did you get any thank you emails for some of the rain that was around town yesterday?
No. I mean, I'll take some. You want to send an email, I'll take it. But no, it was spotty, and so not everyone saw rain. So we don't want to rub it in for those who didn't get any. Yeah. But the rain did come down heavy in spots, and it was beautiful, beautiful to see. We didn't register any rain at the airport, though. I will tell you that. Balcones Heights, look at that. That is a lightning strike. Cloud to ground, beautiful shot. As I always say, these are hard to catch, so if you do get one on camera, that's impressive. We appreciate it. Several more pictures coming in on KSAT Connect that we'll try to share with you this morning. But that was the scene yesterday afternoon as some of these storms bubbled up here around San Antonio. And it was all of those outflow boundaries, and you never know where they're going to move and where these storms are going to pop up. So it really is the luck of the draw. And in San Antonio right now, we're at 77, New Braunfels 73, Seguin down to 71. We could get into the 60s this morning in Seguin. That would be fantastic. Bernie and Kerrville also in the upper 60s. And football forecast. We do have some games tonight. Should be pretty good for football. I mean, other than it's a little warm. 92 at kickoff, 89 at halftime, partly cloudy. Sunset is at 7:23, so it's earlier. That helps a little bit too with these games. And Friday night football looks good too, by the way, with temperatures likely in the 90s at kickoff. What is the morning commute looking like? Let's check back in with Steven for the latest there.
It looks fine. I mean, I'm not seeing any issues out there for drivers, and I'm always keeping a close eye on these TransGuide cameras as we get a look around town. Now, so far, so good, right? 35 at 10 Monaco's. We have the north and southbound lanes. Not a lot of folks out there this early in the morning. And 281 at the quarry. Our friends at TransGuide now giving us a wider view out there following a stalled vehicle. But really, all we're going to see right now is just a bit more traffic. Not a whole lot because we haven't approached morning rush just yet. But take your time this morning. We did have a stalled vehicle and a lot of overnight construction, which has already wrapped up, but there's more on the way. Thankfully, nothing is slowing folks down this early. And if you're coming into San Antonio, it's still pretty pleasant from Pleasanton with 26 minutes at this hour. We have about 28 minutes if you're heading along US 90 eastbound from Castroville and 16 minutes along I-35 northbound if you're heading in from Lytle to the downtown area. But again, no slowdowns reported just yet. We have a lot of green out there, but definitely seeing a little bit more traffic at 35 at Ben Zingelman. And as always, I'll watch the roads closely, but make sure to do the same, guys.
If Washington, D.C.'s efforts to avert a shutdown was a baseball game, it's the bottom of the ninth, and there is absolutely no one on base.
Unless some sort of deal is made before Saturday night, the nation will be heading back to the dugout empty-handed. As CNN's John Lawrence reports, there's definitely no one in Washington that is expected to hit a grand slam.
This October might be a little more spooky than usual in the U.S.
President, do you think the government shutdown is inevitable? I don't think anything's inevitable in politics.
Funding for the government expires on Sunday, the 1st of October, and right now there's no plan in place to prevent that.
Every day I walk in this place, I have confidence. You know why? Because we're America. We will solve the problems before us, and every day will be better than the day before. Some days you stumble, and some days you get better.
The White House is calling on House Republicans to back the Senate's bipartisan stopgap bill that would temporarily keep the government running with a continuing resolution.
Speaker McCarthy needs to stop letting the MAGA radicals drive his decisions and do the obvious and sensible thing. Follow the Senate's lead and pass a bipartisan CR to prevent this reckless shutdown.
But some members of the House GOP aren't showing signs of compromise.
If the folks in my district want somebody who's just going to come here and vote for continuing resolutions and omnibus bills, they've had other choices in other elections, but they chose to send me, and I'm here to fight.
Among the potential impacts of a shutdown, active military members and Border Patrol agents will go without pay. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Former President Jimmy Carter will be celebrating his birthday a little bit early this year. Carter will be turning 99 on Sunday. He was supposed to have a celebration at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum in Atlanta that day, but the library announced it was moving the event to Saturday due to the possibility of that government shutdown. Presidential libraries could close in the event of a shutdown, but the library says it still hopes to be open Sunday and the celebration will continue. Cost of admission to Saturday's festivities for President Carter, 99 cents in honor of Carter's 99th birthday. Happy birthday,
yes.
Mr. President.
Happy birthday. Time now, 5:36 and 76 degrees for now.
Just ahead on GMS 8, why JetBlue is joining the list of carriers offering to make sure families stay together on flights.
Plus, how Heinz is trying to cash in on the recent Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce interaction.
That's what we're calling it, the interaction so far? I guess we don't know any more than that, right? That's all we can say. Right now, beautiful shot out there, crystal clear live cam right now on an early Thursday morning. You're watching GMSA.
Welcome back. It's 5:39 in your morning consumer headlines. JetBlue Airways is the latest airline to now offer a no-fee guarantee that allows families to sit together. JetBlue joins 3 other U.S.-based carriers to promise for no fee children 13 years and younger may sit next to an adult traveling with them on the same reservation. Now, passengers who get JetBlue's Blue Basic Fare, the airline's version of Basic Economy, are included in the seating policy. Bookings made within 24 hours of that flight may have to be assigned to be by a crew member. Now, there are terms and conditions that apply to the guarantee. Among them, customers will not be allowed to make additional seat changes once they are assigned seats with their children.
Let's say they're playing catch up. Heinz is capitalizing on Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce potentially dating in order to attract sales. It's releasing a limited edition of its ketchup and seemingly ranch sauce. A Swift fan says that's what appeared to be, she appeared to be eating at Kelce's NFL game Sunday in KC. The sauce isn't new, but everyone is just trying to cash in on this weird phenomenon these days. Heinz usually calls it Cranch, but 100 bottles will come with this new custom label. So I assume it's ketchup and ranch, right? So it's Cranch?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Joints.
Sounds good.
Bottle of.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
541, 76 degrees.
Up next, the San Antonio Humane Society is next with a pet that needs a new home.
And checking Trends Guide, 37 to 10 looks great. Downtown off in the distance. There's 35 at Ben's Engelman. Don't see any problems there either, and that's a good sign as our morning commute gets rolling.
Well, Kim said that this one just wants a snuggle.
I know. Look, I mean, just cradled in the arms.
Is that like a little collie mix in there?
A little, but a little bit of a some sort of collie mix, beagle mix. Okay. So kind of you can tell by the face, but definitely this dog's about 3 months old. Her name is Toast, and she's over at the Humane Society. So yeah, she's a little bit of a beagle collie mix, but definitely really chilled.
She's got those eyes. I don't know if you can see them, but they are just melding you.
Oh, she's like, I don't know. I just want to snuggle in your arms. I'm ready for colder weather.
What you got going on?
So we have our fun wellness clinic events that are taking place 4 days a week. So they're Monday through Thursday at the shelter. They are by appointment only. So during wellness, you can get your rabies vaccination, vaccinations, or your dog, not you, of course, but your dog, cat, rabies vaccinations, nail trims, all those kind of different little things. And it is a low cost. So you go online to our website, sahumane.org, and you can book an appointment. We also do them on Saturdays. They are from 8 to 2, but you have to be there by 1:30, and it is first come, first serve.
Okay.
So.
And it's open to anybody.
Open to anybody, any resident, doesn't matter where you're at. Yes.
Fantastic.
So come out and see us, but just be patient too, because we do receive a lot. But yes, if you're going to do it during the week, you need to make an appointment. But on Saturdays, first come, first serve.
Okay. If you'd like more information about that or a little toast here, just head on over to the San Antonio Humane Society, 4804 Fredericksburg Road, or head over to their website, sahumane.org. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Morning toast.
Yeah, super cute.
Adorable. 5:46.
Let's check back with Stephen Cavazos.
Yep, we're all ready to drive off into the weekend this Friday morning. Thursday morning. All right, we still got another day to go. No worries there. But if you have to hit the roads in the next few minutes and you're ready to drive off into the weekend, who could blame you? But the good news is, as we get closer to Friday, traffic shouldn't be too much of a problem, at least today. You can see 410 at Ingram North. Morning has been off to a pretty decent start. I'm keeping a close eye on things, but some of our TransGuide cameras appear to be down. But as soon as an issue pops up, we'll be sure to let you know and try to get our eyes on that. But as we take you to our map, it's still very, very quiet out there. Lots of green on the screen, as always expected this early in the morning. But take a look at what's happening later today. I've been mentioning this all week, the curb and sidewalk construction along Bandera Road. The work started on Monday, and we still have 2 more days to go of this, 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. This takes us to the end of the work week. And drivers, it's that time where we're going to see the alternating lane closures in both directions from Loop 1604 to Circle A. But that's not happening until later this morning. We've had a lot of that overnight work, as we have discussed during our very early morning calls. 1604, we see it along I-35 on the northeast side, and US 90, that's usually the first spot where we are going to see the congestion. But just pack your patience, and if you see those crews out there, make sure to move over and slow down. Give them a break.
Yes, sir. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to October.
We so are. We thought September was going to be kind of our big break to get things to change a little bit in the weather pattern. Hasn't happened. September is likely going to go down in the record books as the hottest on record. 87.3 is what we're averaging. We've got 3 days left, and I think it's almost inevitable that we finish in the top spot. So, as we look back on all the records here that we keep setting, it has been one heck of a year. Hottest summer on record. August was the hottest month ever since records have been kept in San Antonio. Longest stretch of 100-degree days, most 105-degree days in a year, 31 record highs over this period, and now we can add the hottest September on record to this list. And there are more records. This is just a few of them, but it has been rewriting the record books. That's been the theme this summer and early this fall as well. 92 in Kerrville, 95 San Marcos today, 96 in Seguin, 96 in Pleasanton. It's another hot one. These are above average numbers, well above average, in fact. And as we look outside for you right now, 77. This also is above average. We should start to see some cooler morning lows. That has not happened, due in large part to the fact we still have good, healthy dew points in the low 70s. So that keeps the temperatures up in the morning. So too does the cloud cover that we have out there right now, mostly cloudy. Dew points are in the 70s just about everywhere. And of course, yesterday's rain kind of adds to this. A little more humidity in the air, a little more moisture in the ground. And so dew points will be rather high this morning. As far as our forecast goes, a couple of showers along the coast. Otherwise, San Antonio stays dry. The radar will be far more quiet today than it was yesterday. And as we get into tomorrow, quiet, mostly sunny on your Friday. Now on Saturday, we did add in a very small chance for a shower or two as we'll get some deeper moisture trying to work on shore here, but it's not going to amount to much. It'll be some of those spotty showers that will make a run at San Antonio late in the day, but I don't think it will really interrupt any of your plans. If we did happen to get a shower, it would be very quick, very brief, and wouldn't cause many issues. So our rain chances today, between 4 and 6 o'clock, we'll put in a 10% chance. Again, that's mainly I-35 and points east. So these rain chances aren't really something to be concerned about. But as we look down the line, we are going to get a good trough developing out west. So that will make for some unsettled weather out there. It's nice to see that we're finally seeing the jet stream kind of buckle a little bit because it's been stagnant. And this storm system tries to work towards us, but doesn't have a whole lot of success. It kind of gets stuck out west. But I think it is a sign of things to come. We're starting to see things get a little more active. And hopefully as we get into October, there are some signs that maybe we get a little bit of a pattern change. In the meantime, it is more of the same. Mid-90s, Thursday, Friday, same over the weekend. Maybe a little cooler to start next week, but it's mostly sunny. The mornings maybe a little bit better early next week, but there is nothing exciting yet in the extended forecast yet.
We know it's there, though.
It's coming. We know it.
Yeah.
It will. It will.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah. 5:51, 76 degrees.
A new movie centered around the very real issue of wildfires heads to theaters this week. We're going to get a first look next.
Here are your lottery numbers. Pick 3, 169, Fireball 7. Daily 4 numbers, 7209, Fireball 5.
Cash 5, 4, 11, 13, 23, 25. Lotto Texas 9, 31, 33, 45, 49, 54. And your Powerball numbers 1, 7, 46, 47, 63. Powerball 7, Power Play 3. Good luck.
This is no joke.
A family trapped by a wildfire fights for survival in On Fire.
Fire's spreading fast.
We gotta get out of here.
It was really a movie to explore the characters, this one family that was going through this harrowing experience and how they grow together through it and overcome.
As long as we're together, we're gonna be okay.
The 19-day filming schedule was nearly derailed when the director fell ill, but its star was able to help.
Actors, and he's a filmmaker, they see things from a different lens than a writer or a director because they're living in the situation. They have to embody that. So when I got sick with COVID, he was able to take over for me for the days where I was gone.
I think if I had to sit there and go, well, I'm going to take on this co-directing job, it would have been stressful in the sense of like, okay, I got to, but it was almost as if I was thrown into this experience, kind of like my character was thrown into this experience.
What am I supposed to do here? How can I choose?
Clay? Gotta pick your favorites.
No, they're all my favorites. That's the point. This budget, I thought they did an unbelievable job with creating the fires. There weren't real fires.
The cast of the independently produced film was able to talk about the movie during the SAG-AFTRA strike thanks to an interim agreement.
We went to SAG-AFTRA. We had the producers sign the interim agreement. It was approved by SAG-AFTRA. They're actually in support of us promoting. I think we're one of the first films coming out under the new interim SAG-AFTRA agreement, which is a positive, wonderful thing.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get my family out alive.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Well, United Way and Bexar County are still teaming up to cool people down with free box fans. Project Cool has provided seniors and people with disabilities fans for months now, but there's not much time left if you still need one. You have until this Saturday, that's September 30th, to get a free fan. Just call the United Way Help Hotline at 211 to schedule that delivery directly to your front door. Right now, we are just about 3 minutes till 6 ahead in our next hour of Good Morning San Antonio. Civic Park at Hemisphere is now open to the public. We'll show you the sights and sounds and what to expect this fall, especially as things get cooler. Plus, a father looking for answers almost 3 years since his son's murder. Up next, the plea one man is making to the Bexar County District Attorney's Office after a suspect was never charged. And just ahead, San Antonio police investigating an overnight shooting outside a fast food restaurant on the southwest side. What we've been able to learn from the scene in just moments. And checking TransGuide, overnight construction in a few spots around town, but right now traffic looks great at 410 and Fredericksburg. Other shots from around town showing more of the same. And don't forget, nobody won Powerball last night, so the jackpot's now up to $925 million. The next drawing coming up on Saturday night as we head into the night beat right here on KSAT 12. You're watching GMSA, much more to come after this. We are at the scene of late-breaking news. A fire on the east side appears to have damaged more than one home.
Katrina Weber is live in the 1200 block of Florida Street, not far from South Pine and Iowa Streets. And Katrina, was anyone hurt?
As far as we know, everyone is safe, but firefighters are still just trying to make sure the fire's out so they can go through and do a double check. Now, we understand that there are 4 homes that have damage as a result of this fire. 2 of them look pretty extensive. I'll let you look. This house right here in the front is where the fire appears to have started, and according to neighbors, that one was vacant and undergoing some sort of renovations. The fire jumped to one behind it, causing some major damage. Also, the homes on either side of it sustained some damage as well. We don't know how extensive just yet. We're waiting to get a briefing. We have a public information officer here who is getting briefed himself, and then he's going to tell us exactly what happened. But this fire did break out before 5:30 this morning. It sounded like firefighters were having a real difficult time, and as you can see, the damage sort of backs up what we were hearing on the scanners. All firefighters appear to be okay. As I mentioned, they're still trying to make sure everything is out. We also have investigators here at the scene to try to get in there and take a look. But from what we know so far, no one injured, just a lot of damage. 4 homes damaged here in the 1200 block of Florida Street. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina, and good morning to you all. It is 6 a.m. on your Thursday, September 28th.
Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us. We hope you had a good week so far. Some of us got rain yesterday, so that's, some small changes, and we're hoping for more in the month of October.
That's right. Some of you also got some hail, and for those of us that didn't get any rain, there was quite a bit of thunder as well.
There was, and it cooled down some, so there was that. But the people that I saw that were out in the rain were very excited. It was a big deal because it has been a long time since we've got some good downpours. It was good to see on that on the radar yesterday. I think we'll see a couple of showers today, but not like the situation that we saw on Wednesday. Right now, 76 in San Antonio. Not a bad morning. Temperatures are trying to come down a little bit more. Bernie and Kerrville, you are in the 60s to start. We'll see these numbers drop a few more degrees before it's all said and done, hopefully. Pollen count, molds are moderate, ragweed, fall elm, pigweed, all there. And I suspect that molds could go up a little bit today because we saw that rain yesterday. We may see a bit of an uptick there. It is also an ozone action day. I should pass that along. Air quality down a little bit today due to ozone. We're 16 days away from that annular solar eclipse. We're getting excited about this. We've got some plans that we're going to bring to you. We're going to have a lot of coverage of this eclipse, and hopefully you'll tune in with us because we're excited about it here in the weather department and all of KSAT. But know that the moon moves in front of the sun on Saturday, October 14th. You'll get the ring of fire, but you do need those glasses. We can't emphasize that enough. You can't, even at full angularity, you can't be looking at this without special glasses. Again, we have much more on this. We've got a lot of information on our webpage as well. Now let's toss it over to Stephen and talk traffic. Are things starting to pick up?
Well, unfortunately, at this hour, Justin, things really start to change. 14 at Fredericksburg is not a problem. I actually have to step out of the studio here in a minute to call our friends at TransGuide because we have a new crash that just came in. Our producer told me that he was hearing some news about this along 35 northbound at Thousand Oaks. You can see in the northbound lanes, we have a little stretch of orange that's already building out there. There are plenty of cameras in that area, but here's the other thing. There's also a lot of construction. So this could lead to some big delays, and we have to be on the lookout. I'm going to see if we can get our eyes on that, but you can see that buildup already shaping up, and it's not going to be good around this hour, especially along 35, a very busy corridor. Thankfully, the most part of San Antonio, or the majority of San Antonio, I should say, is still pretty much in the green. But again, this is the hour where things really start to shift out on the roadways. I'm not seeing that shot from TransGuide just yet, so I'm going to step out of here, give them a call, and I'll have an update on what we're seeing out there in the next few minutes. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, the American soldier released from North Korea, Travis King, is now being evaluated at Brooke Army Medical Center. He arrived here in San Antonio overnight. King reportedly went across the heavily fortified border between the Koreas more than 2 months ago. North Korea abruptly announced yesterday that it would expel King. According to the White House, return was organized with the help of Sweden and China. This is a story we will be following closely all day on air and online at KSAT.com.
Also new this morning, San Antonio police are investigating a shootout at a Jack in the Box that ended with 2 people being hit by that gunfire. It happened around 12:45 this morning in the 3800 block of South Zarzamora. That's on the city's southwest side. Now, San Antonio police tell us that a man had a shootout between 2 other men in a vehicle in front of that fast food restaurant. The man was hit in the back, and a passenger in that car was also hit. Both were taken to the hospital.
Texas is sending more National Guardsmen to El Paso to help with a group of migrants crossing the border. Officials say more than 600 troops have arrived in 3 days. Previously, the city's mayor said El Paso has reached its breaking point. In December, Governor Greg Abbott started sending Guard members to the border to deter migrants from crossing the Rio Grande. Any more headlines, the nation bracing for a government shutdown.
As ABC's Rachel Bade reports, if lawmakers are unable to reach an agreement on funding, the shutdown would begin at midnight Sunday.
This week, Congress in the midst of another self-inflicted crisis, one that could inflict financial and emotional pain on millions of Americans absent an 11th-hour deal. For some elected officials, the looming government shutdown is a political game of chicken, an opportunity to cater to their constituents and win concessions from the other party. This time, House Republicans demanding steep spending cuts and a U.S.-Mexico border crackdown to leave the lights on. But for Willie Jo Price, a cafeteria worker in the Library of Congress, it's a missed paycheck, one that threatens her ability to pay her bills.
People just like me. It's a lot out here just like me. Living paycheck to paycheck and can't afford to do anything, you know, and then the government shut down. And like I say, the government will go back and they're going to get paid. We're not going to get anything.
Price is far from alone. Starting at 12:01 a.m. on October 1st, as many as 4 million federal workers could be furloughed without pay. 1.3 million active duty military service members, as well as law enforcement officials and TSA agents, will be asked to show up at their posts despite their salaries being frozen.
Employees now live paycheck to paycheck. So one missed check can affect them in many different ways, from childcare to whether or not they have gas to go to work, to and from work, having a lunch.
National parks and passport offices inside federal buildings could close. New clinical trials for cancer and other life-saving research could be delayed, and travelers could see potential disruptions at the airport as air traffic controllers, already short-staffed, feel the squeeze even more. As the clock ticks down, federal employees infuriated at lawmakers for playing recklessly with their livelihoods.
I just can't believe we're going down this road again. This should never even become an issue that our military families have to worry about a paycheck.
The fiscal face-off coming as the nation is grappling with inflation. Meanwhile, here in the nation's capital, lawmakers still receiving a nearly $175,000 taxpayer-funded salary, despite failing to do Congress's most basic duty laid out in the Constitution: fund the government.
During the last government shutdown in 2018, images of unpaid federal workers standing in line at food banks infuriated the nation and eventually led former President Donald Trump to cave on his border wall demands and reopen the government. Now, many are hopeful that it will not come to this point this time around, but given the gridlock we see in Washington right now, it's increasingly likely. Rachel Bade, ABC News, Washington.
Looking ahead, the Powerball jackpot has soared close to $1 billion out of this weekend's drawing. It's $925 million after nobody matched all 6 winning numbers last night. 4 people in 4 states are still millionaires: in California, Kansas, Maryland, and Kentucky. Texas Lottery says one person in Texas won $150,000 after matching 4 out of 5 with the Powerball. The next drawing is scheduled for Saturday night.
And before we go to break, late night TV is coming back next week. Several shows plan to return with new episodes Monday, including Jimmy Kimmel Live. Late night shows were the first ones that went dark when the Hollywood writers' strike began on May 2nd. WGA members will vote to ratify the tentative deal next week.
Back here at home, 608, 75 degrees.
Still to come, a local artist gets the visit of a lifetime after painting a mural on the city's east side. What it was like meeting Spurs rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama.
And after the break, San Antonio's largest homeless shelter is at capacity. KSAT spoke with the family staying at Haven for Hope about what they're experiencing firsthand.
And looking out there with live cam right now, not too bad, 75 degrees after some people got rain yesterday. Well, the ones that didn't, a little bit of cloud cover at least. We're looking for more hopeful weather next week, maybe. We'll be checking in with Justin to see what's going to happen in October.